Today on the spot, we get the latest coming to PlayStation Network and got quadruple demos for Super Monkey Ball 3D on the 3DS, MotoGP 1011 on the PlayStation 3, East 1 and 2 Chronicles on the PSP, and Ryan drops in with his take on the PlayStation Move Sharpshooter for Killzone 3. All that, and we bring you some tips and hints for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Today on the spot.
Welcome everybody to Today on the Spot for Saturday, February 19th, 2011. I'm your host, Sean McInnes. This is our co-host, Sophia Tong. Sophia, here's how it is.
Okay.
We've been getting a lot of feedback from the audience lately saying that our trivia prizes just aren't awkward and creepy enough. So today, we're gonna fix that, and how. So let's look at these trivia prizes we have to give away today.
I don't even know if I want to ask. What is this?
So this is a Super Monkey Ball 3D banana guard. You put your banana in it, and it keeps your banana safe from bruises, and it's got air holes in it so that your nanner can breathe, so that your nanner is safe, secure. You just toss it in your bag, and you've got a banana for lunch.
Are those Duke Nukem balls?
These right here are Duke Nukem Zen balls. I think you put them in your hand like this, and then you feel an overwhelming sensation of Zen. In case you're wondering, yes, you can put the balls in the banana, and it makes like a funny chirping sound. And finally, the piece de resistance is a Crisis 2 branded shake weight. You've probably seen the commercials for this on TV and maybe even the South Park spoof. I'm not gonna demo it for you because I don't want you guys to make animated GIFs of me, but suffice it to say, you could win all three of these things at the end of the show. But first, let's start it off with the latest headlines.
Hey everybody, it's your GameSpot news update for Saturday, February 19th. I'm Tor Thorson. When Medal of Honor was released last October, EA was a little worried by its less than stellar reviews. However, 4 months later, the game has shipped over 5 million units, making it a bona fide hit. So it should come as little surprise that a second Medal of Honor is in the works. The game is once again being developed by Danger Close Studios, the sub-studio of Electronic Arts' Los Angeles campus. And that's about all we know about the game, which was a follow-up to a title which touted its realism over the Tom Clancy-like atmosphere of recent Call of Duty games. The older title was set during the early days of the still ongoing Afghan war, giving it a possible clue to its location. In other news, another zombie game is being made, but this one has a twist. It's based on The Walking Dead, the acclaimed graphic novel which has since become a hit show on the AMC network. The multi-year deal covers multiple titles on multiple platforms, including consoles, portables, and mobile phones. The Walking Dead chronicles the struggles of a group of human survivors caught in the midst of the zombie apocalypse. In particular, it follows a former lawman trying to find his family around Atlanta, an Atlanta full of zombies. In conclusion, Libya is a land of contrast. Well, that's it, your GameSpot news update for Saturday, February 19th. For more headlines, head on over to news.gamespot.com.
Game Demo!
Hey everyone, and welcome to our daily demo. I am joined by Brody Phillips here from Sega. He's a producer on Super Monkey Ball 3D. Welcome.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
Yeah, so tell us about Super Monkey Ball coming to the 3DS.
Yeah, so this time around we have 3 different modes. So Monkey Ball is the main mode, and it has a really nice single-player experience, while multiplayer is covered by Monkey Race and Monkey Fight.
All right, cool. So let's jump in and take a look at the game.
All right. Okay, let's jump in and check out Monkey Ball. This is probably the mode that's most familiar to people who've played Super Monkey Ball in the past. You are a monkey in a ball, collecting bananas, and trying to get to the goal without falling off to your unfortunate death. So the game has support for 2 control modes. You can either play on the circle pad, using your thumb to maneuver the ball, or you can use the motion sensor and tilt the whole 3DS unit side to side and control the monkey that way.
Oh, cool. So the same characters are back?
Yeah, all the traditional Monkey Ball characters are back. I, Mimi, Baby, and Gong Gong. And the cool thing that I like about selecting the characters is that each one has an impact on the gameplay. I is pretty well balanced in his maneuvers, while Gong Gong, for example, is very dense. So his ball can go through things that I's can't. Baby, for example, is very light, so it's very easy for a baby to kind of maneuver out of shallow gutters, for example.
Do you have a preference?
I like I the best because
Well balanced, I guess.
well balanced, and then when he bumps into things, he gives a scream that doesn't sound like it's too bloody. So yeah, he's like a cute guy, and there he goes.
So how many levels are there?
Yeah,
in
so
single
in
player?
each world there are 10 stages, and we have 8 worlds in the game, so that's 80 total.
Oh, okay.
And the team really went wild with the game designs, and we put a lot of effort to make sure that the early levels were balanced and easy enough for first-timers to pick up, but then the later levels were challenging for our hardcore Super Monkey Ball fans.
Yeah, the difficulty ramp up, and it gets pretty tricky once you get to those later levels, for sure.
Exactly. There are also some neat collectibles in the game where you can find a special banana in a special place, and that will unlock characters or vehicles in the other 2 modes.
So how does the 3D feel for you? Like, what kind of impact does it have on the game?
Well, it's really neat because you can see the depth of the geometry and estimate how long it'll take you to get from one place to another.
Okay.
And yeah, it's kind of nifty with the effects, things flying around in the background. There I go.
Do you find it easier to play in 3D, or you can also toggle it off and just play it in regular 2D?
Yeah, I think if I was in a place that was really tough, I might turn the 3D off just to get past it. But yeah, for the most part, it's a much more engaging experience because you really feel like, you know, you're inside. You're the monkey. You're maneuvering through it. And you're trying to get through it.
Yeah, very cool. So you said there were other modes as well?
Yeah, let's take a look at those. Yeah, let's take a look at Monkey Race. This is a full-featured kart racer. So you'll pick your character and you'll pick what kart, and depending on the combination of your character and your kart, the stats will change. So your speed,
Cute.
acceleration, steering, drift, and turbo, that all depends on, you know, different parameters that the car and the character's combination have.
So how many people can you play against?
So it plays up to 4 people at once.
Okay.
And it has support for download play, so you can actually play a demo version of the game with your friends who don't have the game, just to try it out.
Interesting. Local only, or will they be online?
Local only.
All right. So I'm assuming there will be power-ups and other...
Yeah, I was just trying to get through an item gate there, just to pick one up, but unfortunately the other carts got to it before I did. Now I'm here in the slipstream, getting a little extra speed from having a cart in front of me. Oh, the other guy just took it. There's a little speed boost for me.
So what are the tracks like?
There's quite a lot of variety. This is actually the simplest one in the game. Some of the harder ones have ramps, jumps, and like multiple paths. So there's a lot of variety.
Very cool. And what kind of power-ups can we be expecting?
Well, here's one right
design.
here. Yeah, this is the, they called it Let's Dance for a while. It's a like a ballroom dance ball, and that slows you down and spins you, so you do a little dance there. Slows you down for a bit, give you an advantage, lets you get past the other players. All right, here we go. So what's it going to give me? Down on the bottom is the speed boost, which I'll definitely need to use because I just got hit with the ice cubes. So once I get up to around this corner to straightaway, I think that'll be the best time to use it.
Do you have to
And here we
unlock
go.
the carts?
Yeah, actually, you get a limited number in the beginning,
Okay.
and then based on your performance in other game modes like Monkey Ball, you can unlock other characters and other carts.
Okay. So most of the unlockables are acquired through the single-player mode? And then,
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. So I just did Super
giant
Monkey
hamster
Ball. Yeah, so I can just march right through
Wow, that's a
and
nice power-up.
come back to first place, the goal. So that's basically Monkey Race in a nutshell. And I want to show you Monkey Fight, because that is a riot. Okay, cool. So, okay, this is Monkey Fight. And in Monkey Fight, the object is to pick up the most bananas.
Oh, so you're not fighting other monkeys?
Well, you really are fighting other monkeys, but the goal isn't to beat each other up. Instead, the goal is to have the most bananas at the end of the match.
I see.
So you pick your characters and the stage, and you can pick some rules. And I'll talk about rules in a little bit once we get the game started.
So also 4-player local?
Yeah, this is the same basic multiplayer feature.
Oh, it's like a 2D side-scrolling.
Yeah, exactly. So the player who has the crown,
Has the most bananas?
yeah, he's got the most bananas.
So there is some punching involved.
Yeah, there's tons of punching and lots of fighting. It's just that depending on how many bananas you have, you might want to run away, because the more times you get hit, the more... There's a golden barrel that appears on the screen once in a while, and if you're the person who gives it the 10th punch, you can unleash a special attack like Gongong's doing there, and that'll knock you off.
Banana stealing
Yeah.
move. All right, so thank you so much for stopping by. Now, when's it coming out and on what platform?
Sure, it's March 27th, along with the launch of the Nintendo 3DS.
All right, great. Now, that was our look at Super Monkey Ball 3D. Now, on with the rest of the show. Now, moving from one Sega game to another, there is a demo of Yakuza 4 on the PlayStation Network and plenty of other stuff. So let's find out what's happening this week on PlayStation Network.
This week on PlayStation Network, in downloadable games, Battlesome Robots, and the acceleration of Siguri X Edition. This anime-style fighting game will force you to gather your wits and survive 11 levels in 3 different arcade and versus modes. Afterwards, go airborne in Pure. Throttle up your quad bike, check your fear at the starting line, and compete against 15 rival riders in over 30 unique off-road trick racing events. Then you know you've been waiting for it since the early 90s, it's Back to the Future the game. Marty McFly and Doc Brown return in a brand new Back to the Future adventure. 6 months after the events of the third film, the DeLorean time machine mysteriously returns to Hill Valley driverless. Travel through time as you meet up with the McFlys, Tannins, and Browns to right the wrongs, amend timelines, and prevent terrible, terrible mistakes. 5 episodes are being released, 1 each month, and there's also a trial. Speaking of episodes, all the chapters of Sam & Max Season 3 are now available for download. Also this week on PSP is Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. From the creators of the celebrated Final Fantasy Tactics, experience a tale of political intrigue, conquest, and rebellion. Make your choices through a branching storyline to determine the fate of the Wallister Resistance. In-game demos, grab a crotch rocket and try the MotoGP 1011 demo. Take on realistic bike racing in the sampler that includes 2 playable GP class bikes in either a single-player championship race or time trial mode. And in keeping with motorsports, Nailed also dropped a demo this week. Grab your bike or ATV and hit the racing circuit. Notable this week is the DJ Hero 2 Pendulum Mix Pack, Mindjack Extra Map Pack 1, and Beats for Def Jam Rapstar. In game trailers, check out videos for upcoming games Yakuza 4, Homefront, and SOCOM 4. That's all the time we have, folks. Join us next week for more This Week on PlayStation Network.
Game Demo.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's demo time. Chris Waters joining you here at the desk. Sean McInnes in the seat with the DualShock. Sean, what's up?
I'm about to demo MotoGP 1011, a new motorcycle simulation racing game from the fine folks at Capcom.
Excellent. Let's get to it. MotoGP 1011, so named because it covers 2 seasons of MotoGP.
2010 season, and they're going to release DLC updates for the 2011 season. I have already customized my own racing team, and I want you guys to see this right now. Homer, make sure we don't miss this intro, because it's going to be a thing of magic. Here we go. My rider's name is Bullet Sandwich,
Okay,
obviously.
there you are down at the bottom.
Check it.
Wow.
Custom team branding. I'm
Loud
in the
and
career
proud.
mode right now. You get to design your own team branding. You get to, name your team. You get to hire staff. Obviously, I
Clearly
went
you
with
get to
kind
design
of
your
like
clothing.
I went with sort of like a late 80s, early 90s sort of look to
Like
my team.
this is like you would see this at Aspen in like a ski movie from the 80s.
From the 80s, and the ski movie
Yeah.
would be called like Ski Dudes.
Yep.
A ski-fari adventure, I think is what it would be called. So, all right, so here we go.
So here
Coming
you
in
are,
on
racing.
our first corner,
Yep.
and there's some dudes
A little
coming up.
little bump and shuffle.
So,
That's not what they call it, probably.
bump and shuffle. There you go. That's what. Totally
But you are getting credits here for overtaking, for getting some slipstream. So they're encouraging
Yeah.
you to ride good and not like a junk show.
Right, but you can occasionally ride like a junk show if you want, because check out this this sweet feature. I'm
That
gonna
was a
try to
nice
just
move,
like
I guess.
booyah!
Wow. Oh, okay.
But rewind. This is a feature they introduced in last year's
Yep,
version of
you
the
got
game.
Rewind.
Just to, make it a little more friendly and accessible to people who aren't necessarily, hardcore gearheads.
Right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take my second chance opportunity. Now, in sort of continuing that trend, this year's version of the game is the first MotoGP to offer custom driving assists. And so anybody who's played, Forza Motorsport knows that you can turn on various assists that let you go into a lot more nitty-gritty details than like a standard difficulty selection would allow you to do.
So you're talking about like how the brakes,
Right, I can turn on
the
things like
throttle,
traction control. I can turn on like auto tucking for when I'm in a straight and it can automatically like tuck down and just sort of like dig in for maximum aerodynamicness. Things like front and rear anti-lock brakes, things like that. And so the game comes with like difficulty options that controls like opponent AI.
Yep.
But you can also just adjust the difficulty level with assists.
So like a wider range of assists to permit presumably a wider range of players to enjoy the action. Because I know for me, I'm not, super familiar with the world of competitive motorcycle racing. So, I'm going to be lost on the track. I'm going to be falling over myself. But with this, you got the line to follow, you got the various assists. Makes it a little less daunting.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I'm a racing fan, but I'm not a big motorcycle guy. The sport kind of eludes me a little bit because it's different because you've got like a front brake and a rear brake, and you have to know when to use which one.
Sure.
Otherwise, you could totally do a wheelie or a stoppie, which is. A stoppie is when you just jam on the front brake and then you go like sort of like rear over nose.
Are you like trying to get me to ask you to do one of those things?
I wish I could do one right now, but I'm on the sort of default assist level.
No biting it?
And it disables that. So that's one of the other custom assists you can do. Now, if you're still, just a die-hard motorcycle sim racing guy, you can disable all of those. You can turn off the instant replay feature by jumping up the difficulty level.
Sure.
And you can just go and do like just pure, pristine simulation motorcycle
Unforgiving.
Unforgiving.
You're gonna spin out if you don't have quite the right angle going into the turn at the right speed.
Yeah, exactly. You can turn off all that stuff if you want. But if you're like me, you can totally just like totally overdo it and go, oh no! I think I'm gonna rewind that.
You're not going to take that shortcut?
I'm not going to take that sweet shortcut right there. So, it's what they're trying to do, the development team at Monumental. There's, trying to make it a little more accessible so that you can sort of just fine-tune your own personal difficulty level because not everybody fits into like...
So have you found, in your time playing this game, have you found yourself getting a little better or getting at least more familiar with the mechanics of motorcycle racing?
Yeah, I mean, not only the mechanics of it, but also the business side of motorcycle racing, because I hired a PR manager for my team.
Really?
A kind lady named Briley Fernandez, who seems to be doing the job. I got a sponsorship.
Briley getting some press releases out there for you?
Briley is getting some press releases. I imagine there's a lot of buzz going on around my team branding and this sweet duck helmet that I've got.
Who was that weirdo from an 80s ski movie?
The guy who's riding for McShay Motorbikes, which is the name of my team, incidentally.
Named after noted motorcycle baron.
Tom McShay.
Tom McShay.
Yes, exactly. MotoGP.
So that's sort of like a career element to it. And okay, cool.
Ooh, this was not so good.
Not your best race.
Not my best. Oh, and just in case I was doing well, I could totally just showboat.
Hey,
I mean, you can still showboat if you're not doing well.
You got to give the people what they want.
It looks really dumb.
But you get some points for showboating.
Right, exactly.
Although when you're getting overtaken each and every time, it kind of okay.
I was trying to knock that dude off his bike.
Very cool, Sean. Well, thanks for bringing Moto GP 1011 here to show off to us. Do you know what? Can you tell folks when it's coming out? What platforms? Given the deal.
It is coming out on PlayStation Triple and Xbox 360 on the Ides of March, which is March 15th.
The Ides.
And in the box, it comes with the 2010 season, details, but they'll be releasing updates for the 2011 season.
Delightful.
Yep.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
And now on with the show, folks.
All right, folks, the next segment that we've got coming up is pretty well suited to me and Sophia. We've both been playing some Marvel vs. Capcom 3 lately, but neither one of us is really much of an expert, right?
Yeah, I could definitely use some tips and pointers on this one.
Well, that's perfect because we've got some tips and pointers for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 right here.
Curtis here to give you some tips and hints for prepping your Marvel vs. Capcom 3 team. Prior to starting a match, you can pick from a list of crossover assists. These assists are linked to quick hypers. Many characters such as Dante and Felicia only have one hyper that corresponds to their assists. However, other fighters like Hulk and Taskmaster can make use of 3 different quick hypers. By tapping the partner button, you can call in one of your allies during the fight. They'll use a special move before leaping back. Their moves range from special attacks, standing command attacks, and even special buffs. Keep in mind, however, that they can be attacked while on screen, making assists somewhat punishable. You can use your allies' hypers in several ways. Crossover combinations use 2 or all 3 members by hitting both partner buttons. If you only have 1 hyper gauge, your character will unleash their corresponding quick hyper. You'll need to store up 2 gauges to use 2 characters, and 3 to use the whole team. It's best to use hypers that won't conflict with each other, and instead build off one another. If you use an area attack, such as Kikosho, try pairing it with other similar moves, such as Lightning Storm and Inferno. The second method of using multiple hypers are Team Hyper Combos. Team Hyper Combos are similar to crossover combinations, but instead of all 3 team members using their hypers at once, each one will attack one at a time. Team Hyper Combos can be performed by inputting another hyper command while the first one is still being used. This will switch out the current character and bring in one of the other team members. This will of course require at least 2 hyper bars, or 3 if you wish to use all 3 characters. You want to time calling in an ally to just before the attack ends, as this will maximize the number of hits and overall damage. Keep in mind that some hypers finish too quickly to be chained in this way. Some characters can further manipulate their hypers when used on their own or with teammates. Ryu's Shinku Hadouken can be shot vertically or horizontally by pressing in a direction during the hyper's startup animation. It can be further adjusted during the move itself by pointing in the desired direction, though the movement is slow. Taskmaster's Legion Arrow fires differently depending on the attack inputs. Light plus medium will fire forward, light plus heavy will fire at an angle, and medium plus heavy will shoot upward. Other hypers that boost characters will be retained when a partner is switched in. Zero can use Saogenmu to create a clone of himself. Each time he is used as an assist, the double will also appear to deal extra punishment. A form of team attacks that doesn't require hyper bars are team aerial combos. During an air combo, you can send the enemy flying by hitting the special button along with the direction. Pressing forward or back will deal a small amount of damage, pressing up will increase the damage, and pressing down will slam them and gain a hyper combo gauge. You want to mix up your attacks to avoid being countered. If you're caught in a team aerial combo, you can break free and damage the enemy by inputting the same command as them. If they try to send you upward, counter by pressing up and special. Remember that forward for them is back for you, so press the stick in the same direction that your opponent does. Speaking of counters, here are some defenses that should help out. Guarding is the basic defense for resisting attacks. Holding back can be used to reduce damage from standing, crouching, and jumping positions. It can be used to block off multiple hit hypers and stop powerful grapple hypers. Advancing guard can be used while guarding close range attacks. Press 2 attack buttons while guarding to send the enemy back. This is great for creating distance and interrupting opponent combos. Crossover counters combine assists and guarding to make a great counterattack. While guarding an enemy attack, press forward and a partner button to switch out a character and come in with a potent special move. While this can be brutal to the enemy, you'll be forced into playing as one of your reserve members. To break through a blocking enemy, use a throw. Throws can be done by moving close to the enemy and hitting hard attack along with either back or forward. Throws are deadly in that they can bypass an enemy's guard. To avoid being thrown yourself, input the throw command just before you are thrown to escape. Another great tactic are snapbacks. Snapbacks can be used with a quarter circle forward and either of the partner buttons. It will also use up a hyper gauge bar. If done correctly, it will send the opponent flying off screen and summon one of their teammates. If the partner 1 button is used, the enemy's first partner will appear, while the partner 2 button sends in the second teammate. This will also stop the enemy from calling in allies or using assists for a short time. Finally, if you're really struggling, go for an X Factor. X Factor can be used once per match by pressing all 3 attacks along with the special button. X Factor can be used to boost damage, pile on defenses, and restore lost life. The more teammates that are dead, the stronger and longer lasting X Factor will be. It's best to wait on using X Factor until 2 teammates are down. That about covers it for the basics. If you want to find out about character specifics, check out the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Primer Guide. Later.
Mighty swing! Mighty swing! You can't run away. You're in for a
Game Demo.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our daily demo. I'm actually joined by Ryan McDonald. I haven't seen you in a while on the set.
It's been a while, I'll be honest. Like, I feel nervous or something. It's crazy.
Why?
I don't know. It's been a while. Like
well, you're very excited. You're here to
Yes.
show off one of your favorite games.
Yes. Well, I certainly say, yeah, the series that I've been really fond of for a very long time. Ys, of course. A lot of people know the Japanese RPG that was like hugely popular in Japan, certainly, and then the TurboGrafx 16 CD, going back, way back. They had Ys Book 1 and 2, and then later Ys 3, and now we have Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles for the PSP coming out next week.
Well, thank you for coming by and demoing it. You pretty much just took it off my desk. So why don't you go through the game and kind of let people know what the changes are and how it looks.
So, the good news I can say for anybody that had been a fan, as you see here on the screen, the game is very, very much like you remember it if you were a fan of Ys Book 1 and 2. I just woke up. This is pretty much right at the beginning, and I just woke up inside my little hospital. Dr. Bluto has been like, yeah, you're good to go. But this is obviously super right off the bat, but just give folks at home that might be wondering what this looks like on the PSP. You can see it looks awesome. It looks super awesome.
There's Adol, who always wakes up.
Yep.
In some random place.
And they want me to go do all kinds of business, obviously, and but I'll show you real quickly. Like,
are you harassing that cat?
I am harassing the cat. But pretty much, you know, if you were familiar with RPGs, you know this is a very traditional style where it's like I'm going around talking to people and finding out what they need me to do and helping them out.
Yeah, visiting towns.
Visiting towns. But the cool thing is, just like the old game, it has some serious dungeon action, and when you get further into it, you'll see, like, they even touted it as having like one of the largest dungeons ever built for an RPG game, and it's like 80-story tower.
Oh,
but let me
and
just
you climbed that tower many times.
I think it's like, what is it, Darm Tower, I think they call it.
Yeah.
So let's see if memory serves. But if I go up this way, I think I'll be able to get out and show you some of the battling action, which is different in Ys. Like, it's kind of like Zelda, right? In terms of the way you look down and you can see all the business. Let's see if I can. France says things were great 6 months ago. Huge trade ships were coming in constantly, and Barbados was flourishing. They have like these really awesome like soap opera style conversations, right? But these days, all we do is fish, fish, and fish. I yearn for the way things were. So yeah, me too. And like, so these people are obviously telling you the motivation for why you should want to help them and save their business, their world.
That's his job. He's the hero. He sails
is the hero.
in, and then doesn't really remember much of what's going on, does he?
No, he's like, I woke up on the shore and things are crazy.
So it's like new soundtrack, everything, new visuals. I heard there's actually multiple soundtrack versions.
Yeah,
in the game, like Complete and Chronicles.
And there's also like the
original
strip PC, you know, it's like, so yeah, and you can change it up. I'll show you when we get out of here. But here's like the open field battling action, right? So if you remember, it was like Zelda, except you didn't have to really swing your sword or anything. You just literally watch. I'm jacking that dude. I jacked that guy. But obviously I'm like
no sword or anything.
No sword or nothing. I'm just doing my business.
So you just have to like time it right, make sure you kind of hit him head on, or how does that work?
Well, you see, I took some major damage there. You know, in Ys 2, you can kind of like do the diagonal action. This one you will die, but yeah, it's pretty much hit him head on. But it's really kind of making sure. I mean, you can see my life bar.
Yeah.
The smidgen that it is now cut in half, so we are not going to bump into that guy no more. but yeah, it's making sure you got like the right equipment attached, so whether it's the armor, whether it's your sword, and then there's all kinds of funky magic stuff you get, like bracelets and all kinds of things that you stop time and all kinds of fun stuff, and that really is much later in the game. But just want to give you guys a look at this. Should we switch over to the 2?
Yeah, let's check out 2.
Okay.
So that just continues the story from Ys 1.
And you can see right here on the screen, they pretty much separate them as like whole complete games. It's like, here's Ys 1, here's Ys 2. The option stuff you can probably go into and do your background music. So there's the Chronicles, there's the Complete, there's the original PC for the soundtrack. But let's go into Ys 2, and hopefully as we load up here and get into it, you'll see that one of the things that was super amazing about the original game on the TurboGrafx 16 was a CD game, obviously, right? So it had the CD quality sound, and it had a bunch of cool animation or really well done pictures that kind of moved, right? And as you'll see in this, they have done a really good job. And so you can pick between your Chronicles or Complete versions. We're going to go Chronicles.
Those are multiple difficulty settings.
Multiple difficulty settings. But we'll go into here and you'll see this cutscene will start up right away. And as people remembered, these guys were pretty good at building epic, beautiful intros and cool stuff. funny watching this. I remember this animation served like it was basically like almost like a break in the game. It was like you had the intro animation, which was awesome, and is at the beginning of each one here, even in the PSP version of Chronicles.
A very rousing intro.
Yeah, and then when you get to this one, I remember it was the break in the game where you saw him get like shot up in the sky. It's like, yeah, so it's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. Let's see if we can skip
so
into it.
let's see what East 2 looks like.
So, as you might imagine.
Oh, you have a little cutscene opening.
Yeah.
Are you washed up from like a shipwreck again?
Well, he got shot up, if I remember right, from the top of the tower to this basically floating mountain, I guess you'd say, or whatever, if I remember right. And so yeah, you wake up on the ground like, oh. Oh yeah, see, and suddenly there you were falling from the sky, bathed in the most spectacular light.
So in the newer East games, there's this guy Dogi that's always tagging along. When does he actually show up in the series? Do you remember?
I don't. I'll be honest. It's like me and my boy Adol. It's like we're like
just
this.
You two.
Yeah. So like there you see she's covered. See there up on top of the floating mountain. I want to tell you. But yeah, the reality is Adol and me like that. Like, I remember getting to like East 3 and they kind of changed the format a little bit, going from the kind of run and bumping we were seeing here that was more the Zelda kind of top down.
Like actual fighting.
And they kind of did like some side scrolling, some business, and that just was not me.
Yeah, XSeed's been working on quite a few East games. I mean, they're kind of going back to redo the older ones, but they've been putting out a lot of games the past few years. And you guys should stay tuned to the end of the show because we're also giving away 5 codes for the game that comes out on Tuesday.
So they like full real deal codes, they can download the whole game for free?
Yes.
Well,
awesome. You can download it off PSN, so it's available on PlayStation Network.
That is awesome.
You can just download that.
And obviously I'm playing it and I have UMD. This is all going to be available as UMD at the store as well?
Yes, that is correct.
That's cool. So yeah, you can see Adol is real big into waking up out of bed. He does it in both of his adventures here.
I was getting hurt somehow.
So, and this is me running outside, but as you can see, beautiful game. Anybody that was a fan of the original East Book 1 and 2 or are really into the East series at all should definitely probably check it out. It's coming out Tuesday, so I'll be playing it this weekend, but you guys can definitely check out yourselves Tuesday when it comes out. So,
excellent. So Tuesday, February 22nd, it's going to come out on the PSP. Mm-hmm. Now, I heard you're doing another demo.
I am. You're getting a double dose of Ryan today, but yeah, I've got to get up and we've got to do some reconfiguring if I'm going to show off the next thing, though.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
should we do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow, would you look at that? Now here, it's me with Ryan, and we're gonna take a look at the Sharpshooter peripheral for the PlayStation Move. We're gonna be playing Killzone 3. Ryan, you've been spending some time with this thing. You're the expert here. Tell us how this thing works.
So the Sharpshooter, as you might imagine, you can see pretty much I've got 2 things. Oh, I should not unpause it though. I got 2 things basically. I got a regular move that fits right here, plugs right in, and basically maps its buttons to the trigger and everything.
Right.
I've got this sub-controller down here, which basically allows you navigation, use the analog stick.
Okay.
And basically the way the game works is you kind of use this as your left analog stick, so movement.
Oh.
And then this becomes your right analog stick.
That's your right one, okay.
But it's pretty much geared by you just going one way
around.
So you will see, and then you got reload down here and all kinds of fun tricks. So
nice.
Let's see what this business does. So the first thing you'll see is I'm getting shot, obviously. So let's not get shot. Back up over here and see if I can stay alive long enough while we're doing this. So right now you can see if anybody's played Killzone 3, and I guess they haven't, I can tell you that this is different from the way the game works with the controller.
Right.
So you see the way the EOTech floats around there and lets me move. It gives you a much more, straight up I am shooting people
kind of a feel.
Yeah, totally. And the neat thing about Killzone 3 is you see I'm moving, and it does take some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's it took me about 20 minutes to really kind of get a feel to move, I guess, proficiently enough in the game that I was shooting people and not dying all the time. Mm-hmm. So let me actually demonstrate by not falling off that cliff. So the real trick to it is once you start playing with the Sharpshooter, it's just the motion that you need to do is a lot more subtle than you think.
Yeah.
So when you're coming through here and you're moving, it's you can see me, it's I'm barely moving this thing. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but when I pull the trigger and I shoot those Hellgas guys, the motion and the move moves, so it's boom, 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 boom. So it's kind of giving you a little bit of feedback. And I will be honest, it's it's really precise. I mean, people use the Move motion controller, so they know how precise it can be. Mm-hmm. So just imagine that on the end of this with the trigger attached, and you kind of got an idea of how this works. Now, I will say the trickiest part about it is kind of figuring out So right now I'm pushing this little button underneath the trigger with my right, with my one of my right fingers over here.
Okay.
And that is allowing me to do the, right here I can basically get my cover on, right?
Right.
And then I hit this trigger on the sub controller, and that's what lets me pop up and shoot these guys. And you can see I'm pretty much putting it right where I want it. Let's see if I can hit this guy in the face again.
Shoot him. Shoot his face right off.
I'm gonna shoot his little. Oh, there's his face.
Right in your dumb Helgan face.
So here's it'll automatically reload because in Killzone when you get to the bottom of it, you pretty much are reloading. You can see right there it puts that little target around it, so you can kind of see these guys. So it does have some aids in there, depending on how you want to use it. I mean, right now I can go in the options and turn off the business with that. This I guess you would say this floating reticle right there. I can get rid of that.
It's super customizable that way, right? Because you can adjust like the dead zone, like
totally.
the area in the screen where it doesn't move the camera, and it's like it seems like you can tweak it pretty thoroughly.
Totally, and I'll be honest, it's like on the levels in this game, there's about 4 or 5 levels where you're basically kind of riding rail shooter style in a vehicle. Those few places that you do it, it's pretty neat because then you're not worrying about the motion at all. You're just literally aiming and shooting. The only thing that comes up then is you really want to basically have it move faster because sometimes you're on a turret basically. You're like, go faster to the right, please, right? So wait, I'm back in the action. All
right, not dead yet.
Not dead yet. So it is tricky, but like I said, 15-20 minutes not a lot of time to really kind of start to get the hang of it. And I imagine, and here's this button up here. I'm gonna push to get my shot face on because I have no ammo. Let me get this business on. So, any questions from you, sir?
How do the melee attacks work when you're using this
So
gun?
the melee attacks, watch, let's see if I can actually do it. I'm gonna let me see if I can get rid of one of these guys before I try it.
Oh!
You gotta watch out for that.
There he goes.
All
He's
right,
got
so
the life
here
gun.
goes a melee attack. Let's see if I can actually do it. So you run up and you just jack him.
Oh!
So you just basically...
That's pretty visceral.
It is pretty visceral. You can see I'm starting to get shot up. And that's the one thing I will say. Close quarter combat, still getting used to it.
Yeah, takes a little getting used to.
Still getting used to that.
All right, cool. Well, Ryan, thanks for showing us how this sharpshooter peripheral works.
Yeah, no sweat.
All right, there you guys have it. The PlayStation Move Sharpshooter peripheral. It'll be available to play with the game when Killzone 3 comes out next Tuesday. On with the show. All right, so I'm back here with Sophia. Sophia, you started using that shake weight during the last demo there, and it looks like you put on a little bit of bulk. What,
I feel like a new person.
Yeah?
It's like this thing really works. I'm kind of working up the sweat here, and
you've added quite a bit of muscle.
I'm making it happen. I'm making it happen right here, Sean. I'm not just your standard, pushover kind of DS demoing person anymore. I've got all sorts of meat on my bones now. All right.
Wow.
So it's trivia time, right?
I think it might be trivia time.
I'm getting tired here. I'm getting tired here.
Okay, before you hurt yourself, tell us how people can win this awkward and creepy video game swag bundle.
So this one bundle is going to come courtesy to you if you answer this one Monkey Ball 3D question. How many levels are in the upcoming Monkey Ball 3D for the Nintendo 3DS? If you think you know the answer, hit the little trivia module on the right, or send us an email at onthespot@gamespot.com.
Now, if you don't want a really kind of creepy trivia bundle that you can't really show your parents, we have a much more socially acceptable alternative. We're giving away 5 East 1 and 2 download keys.
Hurry up!
If you can answer the following question. Developer Falcom is celebrating an anniversary this year. Which anniversary are they celebrating? Send us the answer the same way. Send us an email to onthespot@gamespot.com, or use that little green answer trivia module on the page right here. Sophia, you're starting to creep me out. So clearly, no matter who wins, you guys are going to be very lucky winners because, this stuff is awesome, right?
Right. I don't even know how we can follow up for next week, but be sure to stay tuned next week. We actually have 2 live shows. One is going to be coming to you guys from the Microsoft event next Thursday, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, Microsoft is having a big blowout event. A lot of their first-party titles are going to be shown off there. Another big event coming your way next week, live, is our 3DS launch coverage in Tokyo. Apparently I'm going to Japan next week to do live video from the 3DS launch event over there, so that should be a lot of fun. But it is a 3-day weekend over here in the States, so we won't have a Tuesday show for you, but obviously the rest of the week will make up for that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Sean McInnes.
I'm Sophia Tong.
Have a good weekend, everybody. That was great. That was rich and compelling.